What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we are jumping into our next episode of how to paint for Monster Fight Club's Borderlands game that we got recently. So we've been knocking out all these miniatures, and today I'm really excited because we're doing my favorite character, and that is actually Roland. So we're doing Roland today. I do have to dry brush him, and then we can get this starting on the paint. I don't have to really reference too much with Roland because I know exactly how he looks because that is my favorite character in Borderlands. This is, though, based off of Borderlands 1. So I did notice that with these miniatures that we got for Monster Fight Club's Borderlands, they are like the opposite of what the characters look like in the Bunkers and Badasses. So, not opposite, but the Bunkers and Badasses, we got a Roland, but it was literally the model for Borderlands 2 Roland. This one is Borderlands 1. And same thing with Mordecai. Mordecai was Borderlands 3. That was Borderlands, I think, 2 for the Mordecai over there. The one that we got with Monster Fight Club for Lilith is Borderlands 3. But the Lilith that came with the bunkers is Borderlands 2. So it's kind of like they are technically different models, which is pretty cool. It's not like you're getting just the same character. You're getting different sculpts. Well, obviously, they're going to be different sculpts, but we got different versions of them. Also, we also have his Scorpio turret. Now, we are not going to paint the Scorpio turret today. We are going to save this for another video. So I wanted to do them both in a bundle, but I have to separate these up today because I don't know if I'm going to have time to paint tomorrow. So since I might not have time, I want to make a video for this separately. This one's going to be extremely simple though, so you can skip over this video when this one gets released. But if you really want to. But if you have a hard time painting the Scorpio turret and you want to kind of make it look exactly like the game, I will do a step-by-step thing for that. But that should be extremely simple. It's literally a gun on a stick. Like, that's what that is. But Roland today, we're going to have a lot of fun with Roland because he's my favorite character. I got to do justice for Roland. So let's start painting. Okay, guys. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do our skin tone. Now, we're not going to use the same mix for a skin tone because Roland, he's a black guy. So we are going to give it a brown skin tone. And with that skin tone, you still want to start out darker. Same thing with when I do like white skin or lighter skin, we still want to have a darker undertone, more red. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a dark rust. It's not too dark, but it also has like a slight reddish tint to it. So we want to use that. That's going to be our base coat of skin. And then we'll lighten it up with mixes later on with maybe like a deep brown or regular brown, because I have a medium rust too. That might actually work too. A mix of dark rust and medium rust. That might work. They're pretty good browns, and yeah, that's what we'll probably try to do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the dark rust, and we're going to make sure we hit his face up, all the way around his neck and head. He doesn't have any hair, so you can hit the whole head up. And we have the arm. There's an opening right here where his arm is. Now, he does have a tattoo of a skull, and we do want to paint that on there because it's like one of his iconic things that we remember with him. So we're going to want to paint that on there, but make sure you don't forget that that is skin right here. His other hand is a glove, armor, and such, because this is Borderlands 1 Roland, so just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get this skin tone down, and then we will see where we're going to go with the next part. Okay, so from here, we're going to take a light earth. Usually I use this with basing. And he has khaki pants. Now they're mainly khaki. They're basically camo, but they're like the khaki camo. So we're going to put khaki, which would be like a light earth, and we're going to do that for his pants. You want to avoid his shin guard here. You want to avoid his knee, his little knee guard, or his knee armor, whatever the hell it is. Knee pad. Okay. And then around the backs here, these are also strapped in, so you want to avoid that as well. But yeah, we're going to hit the khakis up real quick, and then we are going to go on to our next color. Okay, so now that the khaki's on, we're going to move on to a basalt gray. So with the basalt gray, we are going to hit the sleeve up here, the glove, sleeve, glove, and hat. So you want to get both sleeves, both gloves, and his hat. Do be mindful, he does have some glasses on his hat, so make sure that you don't lose that detail. You can either cover it up and then paint just the glasses later, or you can basically just paint around the glasses and leave it the way it is. That's how I'm going to do it, so I don't forget about it. After that, we're going to go back, and I think we're going to use a reddish gray for some of the armor. But let's get to doing basalt. Okay, so now that's on there. So what we're going to do, his armor has like somewhat of a greenish tint to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to use a reddish gray. I think the reddish gray is going to look really good and it's going to pop with this model. So we're going to use a reddish gray. If I don't like the way that looks, I will mix the reddish gray with a little bit of like olive green and see what happens and how it looks. So if I do end up doing that, I will let you guys know. But right now we're going to see what the reddish gray looks like on here by itself. Always remember, painting miniatures is trial and error. Like, you're always going to test things out. You're always going to try to see what you can do to be more efficient with your painting and make sure that the model is read by the eye better. So, but a lot of that stuff, you have to take the time and test things out. Nothing's ever perfect, you know, the first time around. Sometimes that you're not going to get it right, but eventually you will have something to work with. So let's go ahead and try to get this going and see where we head to. So we actually did mix the reddish gray and a tad bit of the olive green, and we got that nice tone there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a warm gray, and we're going to pick out different pieces of the armor. So we're going to do like his belt buckle, his knee pad, his shin piece, his boots, and we're going to do some pieces of the gun, and some of the pieces back here on the straps, so the buckle pieces, we're going to do them. And then we're going to move on to a Tenebrow gray, and that's when we're going to do the straps, and we're going to do his belt and different details like that. Okay, so now we are going to hit it with a Tenebrow gray, and we are going to hit the boots with that. We're going to hit all the straps. The belt, we're going to hit that. Straps here that go over his shoulders. And we are also going to do this piece of his armor, the middle piece. The trim of that is red, so we do have to hit a red on here. And I think that's it. This may be Tenebrow gray. I will actually have to look at that one, because that might be Tenebrow. But we will see. Alright, so with that now on there,
we're going to want to use some red. So we want to use a dark red to start off. So I'm thinking like a, we have some red on the palette here. Let's see if we can reactivate it. I'm trying to see if this is a good enough red to, oh yeah, that's perfect. So you want to use a darker red, and we're going to do the trim of this right here, and then we're going to do the trim of this armor over here, and you also want to do his hoodie, so make sure you hit that hoodie up as well. Yeah, this is turning out really good. So we have all the colors on now. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a wash on, not a wash, but we're going to glaze this model with Gravelord Gray. So that is the speed paint. You can just use a wash at this point, but that's kind of what I use as a wash. So when I say glaze, that's like the washing phase. So we're going to glaze the Gravelord Gray on here. And while that's drying, I'm going to paint Rhinox Hide around the base, so that when that is drying, the Gravelord Gray should be done drying and able to be highlighted. Now, take this as a heads up. I also don't hit the skin up with Gravelord Gray. I like to keep the skin at that tone so I can build up from it. For me, it's not really the best thing to do is to not. The best thing for me to do is to not hit that with that, because it will kill the skin tone and it'll make it darker. So then it'll be harder for me to build it back up. So let's go ahead and get a Gravelord Gray on here and the base colored. Okay guys, so the model is basically done. We still have to work on the base, so we're going to use a light earth, and we are going to dry brush the ground. We are going to add some fake grass, but we are also going to put some tufts on here because I have to. Like, I'm probably going to put more than one tuft on here because my man's Roland is my favorite character, so I'm really trying to make sure, like, everything looks really nice on him. I think the model came out pretty good though. Definitely a really good model. I do wish that this was the Borderlands 2 model, but you know, we still got some Roland. We did do camo also. I don't know if you guys can notice that, but we did like put some green in there, and we put some of the brown because that's kind of how his camo looks. So we put that in there, and I think it looks pretty good. Subtle, but looks really good. So let's work on the base, and once that's done, we're gonna paint the rim black. You don't have to do that, but I do, because it just makes me, it helps me sleep at night. So I'm gonna paint it black, and then I'm going to put his name on the base, the rim of the base. I've been doing that with all of my Borderlands minis, and I think I'm just gonna do that with all of my minis from now on with the orange name. I think it looks really cool and it stands out. So, all right, guys. And here's Roland, ready to hit the tabletop. I'm super happy with the way this turned out. I didn't think that he was hard in any sort of way. Like, this miniature was fairly simple. I don't know if it's because I know a lot about what Roland looks like personally, but definitely really cool. And even though the Borderlands 1 Roland is awesome, of course, because you get to play as him in Borderlands 1, I would have really loved to see their take on a Borderlands 2 version of Roland as a model. If today's video helped you out in any sort of way with painting your Roland from Monster Fight Club's Borderlands, be sure to leave this video a huge like. Also, if you know anybody that is having a hard time getting into painting, or they bought this game and they are wanting to actually paint, but they're kind of scared to,
try sharing my videos with them. Maybe this will kind of push them in the right direction to just pick up a brush and start painting. Remember, nothing is going to be perfect when you first start. I didn't paint perfectly when I first started. The best of painters didn't paint perfectly when they first started. But it's a learning process. You always learn things. I'm still learning things. Everyone I know that paints still is learning things. Top painters like Miniac and Ninjan, all them, they are still learning, even though they do this for a living. So, yeah, guys, just give it a shot. Also, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't already, it would really help us out if you would subscribe to the channel. We just hit 800 subs, and I am like hella hyped and excited for it. So I want to just thank you guys once again for that. We really appreciate it. So as always, thank you guys for checking out today's video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.